So just recapping the game from the other night. Obviously, thoughts are, with Kirk in that situation. Obviously, a huge loss for us as a team. I have had tremendous. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Kirk. I think about just this past weekend. I brought my two sons in here, Miles and Max. For the walkthrough portion of our practice, they like to throw the ball around. That morning we had breakfast with Kirk, and it was something that they just they couldn't stop talking about it. And he was so gracious and welcoming and kind to them. I just have a great deal of respect for Kirk, really more as a person and off the field, and obviously he's a great player, and it's a huge loss for us, and we feel it across the team. But specific to the game, I thought our guys played hard. They played with a lot of emotion and intensity. And it was a big win on the road in the division against a tough opponent, and we got contributions from a lot of different guys. Which we talk about that really on a daily basis. Everyone, kind of handling their responsibility, and then I don't know who's going to make the play, but when your number's called and there's an opportunity for it, you do everything you can to make it. And I think we had several guys do that, and they had fun and they played with emotion. They were physical, and it was just a really good overall team win. Now I'm ready for any questions.
As a play caller, just how does it feel when you start a game with 4 3-and-outs?
I thought the players executed. The credit goes to them. It's not not me, or it's them. I'm not out there. You don't want to see me out there playing football, I'll tell you that. But they tackled, they defeated blocks. You got a big chuckle there. They tackled. They were defeating blocks. They were, playing together, playing fast. So yeah, you think about us. We're playing well. We just want to continue to play well. That's what you're thinking about, and getting to the next, series of things you want to call that maybe complement some of the things that you've already called. So I still have a couple I'd like back, but overall, I thought the players played well.
I mean, just how much confidence do you think is building among the players here as you guys continue to keep opponents down?
One more time? I didn't.
How much confidence do you sense is building among the players here as you guys keep opponents down? I think it's 4th in scoring over the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, I think, we're just building and trying to get better, improve on a daily basis. I think everybody's starting to get a feel for who does what well. But when you see that, I think our opponents are seeing that as well. So I think guys are confident, but I do think there's such thing as overconfidence, and we don't want to get to that point. But we just want to be hungry for improvement, and continue to develop the relationships, within our units. Defensively and really within the team, to just continue to get better and find different ways to complement some of the things that we were already doing.
Tell us, how do you know he's capable of you putting even more on his plate? Seems like it's almost weekly now, or he's being asked to do a little bit more. How have you seen him handle that, and how do you know he can handle even a little bit more?
He wants it. He wants to do it. That's the first kind of barometer. He's looking for, why don't you, blitz me inside, or, let me cover this guy. So that's the first piece. There's only been a couple times this year where, we as a staff have felt like, maybe that's a little bit too much. And then we try to dial it back. He can handle a lot. He can handle a lot of different positions. He knows it conceptually. He understands the fronts, the coverages, the disguise piece to it. So there's really not a lot, and I like to think of, I know we've got a real creative staff. There hasn't been too many things where we've said, we don't think, Metellus can handle that. He's a smart kid. I think he's still improving as a player. There's still things that, he needs to improve on, which, we'll always talk about those things, but, we'll always highlight the good stuff too. And he's doing a lot of really good things, tackling, defeating blocks, making plays on the ball, and just his overall energy on a day-to-day basis, his leadership. It's something that, we covet and we'll need moving forward.
Are you preparing for two quarterbacks right now, Ritter and Heineke?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ritter's been in there the majority of the season. Went out in the second half last week, and Heineke went in there and played well. Obviously, Heineke's played a lot of football in this league. A lot of good football as well in his time in Washington. And that you saw that last week. He's got very good command of the offense. They do a really good job there offensively. I know Arthur and Dave. Actually, I know a lot of guys on this staff. Nielsen, their defensive coordinator. Marquise, their special teams coordinator. All great guys, great coaches. So from that standpoint, we know this is a well-coached team. I'm just thinking of Ryan Nielsen. We were at a D-line camp in Thibodaux, Louisiana. That's where I met him. Great guy, great coach. And, they got a lot of great guys. Arthur and I, spend a lot of time together as well. So we know they'll, schematically, from a toughness, physicality standpoint, this is going to be, a major test. And, the quarterbacks will be ready whichever one's in there.
Helpful when you know a lot of coaches on the other side, or do you kind of cat mouse?
You kind of know, I don't know if it's helpful. I mean, you kind of get a feel for, what they, the message that they're sending to their players. So we know that that's toughness and physicality. I know Arthur's preaching that. I know Marquise is preaching that. I know, Ryan's preaching that. So that's the kind of game we should expect. That they'll be schematically ready in all areas. Offensively, this is a very the diverse group in the run game and the passing attack, play actions. It's all married. It all looks the same. They do a good job. They really do, and they got some really good players. Obviously, the rookie back is very good, and Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I mean, they're skilled. So definitely be a big challenge for us.
What would you say that Heineke brought? Because they were different in the second half, and he doesn't have that drop at the end. Maybe they go down and score and they win the game. But what did he bring that was lacking in the first half?
I mean, it's first half, second halves of games. There's always adjustments that are made. I don't want to take it away from anyone. I think they made adjustments just as a staff. More players made plays. And they got themselves back in the game. The run game was a big part of that. They kind of got that going in the second half. And no question, Heineke made a lot of plays. He ducked under a couple rushes, made some plays with his legs, made some really good throws as well. So I think it's a combination of some adjustments, second half adjustments, and then him making some plays to help his team. Heineke, I'm talking about. Yeah, this is a talented group, and we're gonna have to bring our A game on the road again.
How different is the preparation for one versus the other? I don't know how they're not a lot different, but I'm sure you have different plans for both of them.
I think when you're I kind of understand the question, but I guess my first thought goes to Arthur, and that scheme, his scheme in the run game, from a protection standpoint. From a hand movements, I'm drawing routes with my hands. Just from a conceptual standpoint, in the run game and the pass game, what Arthur and what they like to do, and Dave like to do, offensively, and the quarterback is trying to execute those things. I think both guys do that well.
Brian, what did you make of just how the defense responded after the fumble and Green Bay gets the ball back with kind of a chance there and you get a stop? Like, it seems like it's been a trend in recent weeks of just when there's been those big moments that you guys have always kind of come through.
I think regardless of situation, we want to go out there and try to get a stop. I think we got a resilient group. I think they're we've had some adversity over the course of the year, and how we KO always talks about our response to adversity, and I think they've taken to that message, and in any kind of adverse situation, we want to play our best ball, and that's something we talk about, and they've been able to put that in action, and we want to continue to do that.
And just speaking of that with O'Connell, obviously you being a head coach in the league and gone through adversity throughout a season, now he's dealing with losing his quarterback. I guess, what have you seen from his sort of optimistic outlook that he has, and I guess where does that reflect through the rest of the organization?
I think KO's done a really great job, really over the first half of this season. We've definitely dealt with some adversity, starting with our start to the season. But he talks about the way we respond to that adversity. How we have to continually come in here every day and work and prepare and work to improve, and not really be results based, but just continually working to improve. So, I think as coordinators and position coaches, it's our job to reinforce that message in our specific groups, and we've done that, and we will continue to do that. But that's this league. There's highs, there's lows. I think he does a good job of staying even, and that's allowed us that calm demeanor that's allowed us as a group to kind of fight through that adversity and get to a point here where we can we've had a little bit of success, but we want to continue that on as well.
How hard is that to do, to stay even through the ups and downs of a season?
It's not easy. I think it's an emotional game. It's easy to go up and down. You got to train yourself to stay even. I think he's done that, over the course of his career. And you want to impart that into the players as much as you can, because there's going to be adversity in the game. The ball bounces funny, so it it could be a myriad of things that don't go your way, and you need to be able to respond. And sometimes that response is to not necessarily something negative, but it could be something positive. So you can't get too high either, and kind of keep that calm, even demeanor, and just try to execute the next play.
I believe the trade deadline's almost coming up, but Daniil Hunter's still on the team. How happy would you be if it stayed that way?
Nobody be happier than me.